Hey there, Michelle. How's it going? What's shaking?
Hey, Lindsay, not too much. Do you tend to look at the bright side of things, would you say?
Yeah, I would say my personality is generally pretty optimistic. I mean, sometimes things get a little dark, right? And if we watch the news a lot, it can be hard to stay optimistic. But yeah, I would say my basic personality is positive. What about you?
I think I'm a little bit of both. Like I always think about that. Do I fall into one or the other? And I'm not sure that I do. I think lately I've been a little bit more optimistic, so that's a good thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's good to hear.
yeah.
Is there anything that's provoking that? Anything specific, or just the sunshine coming out?
Maybe the sunshine. I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
But lately I've been feeling like, oh, although, yeah. Anyway,
All right.
not
Well,
all the time.
today we're going to get into this, right? Personalities and also how it collides with culture, right? How could our culture influence our personality? That is interesting. But guys, go ahead and make sure you hit follow right now on All Ears English because we focus on connection, human connection. We're going to show you how to focus on connection, not perfection, through these episodes. So hit the follow button. All right, Michelle, let's get deeper into it.
All right. So today we're talking about the culture of optimism in the US. And also head on over a couple of days ago, episode 2128, we did What is New Year's Like in New York City. So that was super fun. Get optimistic about the new year. Lindsay, do you think that in the US people are generally taught to be optimistic? Is it part of our culture?
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I really think they are. We are here. It's we always like to kind of wrap things up with a nice positive spin at the end. If you
Mhm.
watch our sitcoms, our TV shows, we've always
Yeah.
said on this show there's always a lesson, but there's also usually a positive spin to that lesson at the end of the show. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, especially, like, shows like Full House,
Oh yeah. Shows
d
for kids.
I'm not sure if that's changing a little bit because I feel like our sitcoms have gotten a little, more edgy,
Darker. Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, so I think it's a little bit different now, but, certainly growing up, that cheesy '90s sitcom, Full
Right.
House, even Saved by the Bell, there was always kind of a moral of the story and
A positive moral
optimism.
side. Yeah. And I guess when I think about American culture, for a country that is so independent minded, we kind of have to be that
Mhm.
way. It probably comes back to the pioneer roots, right? Because
Mm,
pioneers had to cross the country and discover and just sort of pave a way. And I
mhm.
guess the narrative has to have been positive. Otherwise, why would you do it if you didn't kind of have an optimistic, a belief that it would be a positive thing, right?
Right. Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. So today we're going to talk about this culture of optimism in the US. Lindsay, this idea is inspired by Sophie Ann's question in Circle.
Yeah, and
Um,
Circle is our community, right, Michelle? It's our
yep.
student community where our students
That's
get to
right.
hang out together, ask questions, connect with each other. It's such a fun place.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So thank you, Sophie, and for that question. But yeah, we wanted to talk about optimism and also expressions that go along with this, and you can see how it bleeds into our culture by the language that we use. Yeah, we talked about sitcom endings. Also, another one I was thinking of was Modern Family.
Mm, okay,
That's
yeah.
always, it's always like at the end of a sitcom when there's a little montage, there's music,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
and there's somebody a voiceover.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure, and Sophie mentioned some things. Maybe we'll go into these phrases later, right, Michelle, later in the
Yes,
episode? Okay, good. So,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
so good. Yeah.
and I think about this also just in the way that we greet people,
Ooh, mhm.
because I started, a couple weeks ago, I was talking to a student, and I said, "How are you doing?" And she actually told me that she wasn't sure if she was supposed to answer honestly or not, because she's used to hearing people say, "Oh, I'm good." So she said, "Oh, it's really," she started giving me the honest answer, and then she stopped herself, and she said, "Oh, I mean, I'm good. Like, I
Yeah.
guess I'm just supposed to say I'm good." And Yeah, I thought that that was
That's
interesting.
that's really interesting. Yeah, I think a lot of students have asked about this over the years, right, Michelle? It's
Mhm.
right, is is how are you doing more of a greeting or is it more of a
Mhm.
question,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So but I definitely think that goes along with our culture of optimism. And Lindsay, do you think this can ever get exhausting? Do you ever feel pressure to be optimistic or have a good attitude?
Yeah, for sure I do. And sometimes you just wanna be authentic, right? Because it's not possible that we're always 100% positive all of the time.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it can get exhausting, especially not so much about the cultural piece, what is normal in our culture. It's more about the personality piece. Like if you're a
Yeah.
personality that people consider positive, then people kind of are like, oh, why are you not being positive right now? That can be exhausting, I
Mm.
would say. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just was kind of thinking a little bit about celebrities. I mean, if you were a
Oh.
celebrity and or just any and maybe not even a celebrity, but somebody, in your town who people know well from,
Mhm.
you work at a certain store and everybody knows you,
Right.
and you're having a bad day.
Yes.
And especially with celebrities, people it's like they're not supposed to have bad days. They're just supposed to
No.
be thankful for whatever they have, and if you see them and they look like they're in a bad mood, then they can get bad press, and that must be
That must
exhausting.
be really hard. Must be really hard. Or, the shots, the photos and in kind of the tabloid magazines and oh, it must be so exhausting being a celebrity. I can't imagine.
Yes, yes, exactly. So I mean, even with my kids, I try to tell my son it's okay to be sad about something. Like
Yeah.
I want him to really experience his emotions and learn how to handle them. So
Yeah.
I'll say, oh, it's okay to feel that way. This comes from reading all the all the parent information about, oh, you're supposed to say this as a parent, which is a whole other story for another day. But yeah, like just trying
Mhm.
to share that as it's okay to experience emotions. I think it's important to be realistic, get
Yeah.
comfortable with emotions. But one of the things I like to think about is that everything comes and goes. So if you're having a bad day, maybe the next day you'll have a good day, and you have to realize
Mhm.
that there are always going to be these changes.
Yeah, I think this is a generational shift that we're seeing that I like it a lot that parents now are showing kids kind of the reality and you can compare it to kind of like the 1950s post World War II where
Yeah,
there was kind
yeah,
of the flight to the suburbs, right? And
yeah,
people were getting jobs and the economy was starting to grow. And
yeah,
I feel like a lot of the TV shows that came out of that time were even more glossed over in a positive way, like Leave It to Beaver and all of these shows, right, that portray this perfect family and always positive and everything. But
yeah.
now I think parents are kind of showing like that's not reality, right?
Right,
And we need to
right.
teach our kids to recognize a range of emotions. Right?
Yeah. Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep, exactly. So that's important. So today we're gonna really dive into some expressions in culture that go along with this culture of optimism in the US.
Mhm.
Positive expressions. So Lindsay, what's the first one?
Okay, so this idea of looking for the silver lining, it's everywhere, guys, right? So
Mhm.
finding something positive about a negative experience. Everywhere. We talk
Mhm.
about it all the time.
Yes, exactly. And then there's also look on the bright side.
Mhm.
So even if something's bad, oh, well, look on the bright side. Like, don't get so upset about what's really happening. Let's look on the bright side.
Mhm. Yep, that's a good
Mhm.
one. Or the expression all's well that ends well. Is this from Shakespeare?
Yes, this is Shakespeare, but I mean, I'm assuming Shakespeare started this expression because that's from a
Right. It's the
long
name
time
of a
ago.
play, right?
It's
Or
the name
no?
of a play,
Okay, okay, okay.
exactly.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
So, yeah, so, but the idea is that, oh, everything's, fine as long as the ending is okay, when in fact, really, the experience could be traumatic and the ending is okay, and then you're just supposed to be like, "Oh, okay, this was fine."
Which is probably a lot of these TV shows is what happened,
Right.
in the old days. Or like this one, right? When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. This also ties
Mhm.
into like our narrative around, the economy around pull yourself up by your bootstraps, an
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
entrepreneurial environment that encourages entrepreneurship. This all is informed kind of the economy that's kind of has thrived over the
Right.
last like 50 years, right, Michelle? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good point. Yeah,
Mhm.
so when life gives you lemons, so something sour, something that might not like, make something sweet out of it. Put some sugar in it, although
Yes.
I would argue that that's not making it as healthy. Anyway,
You would say extra calories, right?
that's the so right. But lemonade is delicious. So, but the point here is that that expression is I feel like that one might be one of the more common ones used on this list.
I think they're all pretty common.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like these are everywhere in our culture, in our narrative, in our TV shows, our books. They're everywhere. I mean, and the next one, I think did you and I talk about this everything happens for a reason or this
I
idea of fate, or was
I
it
think
with
we have
Aubrey?
talked about it
Okay. Yeah,
recently
like being
somewhere.
careful about like fate and what you attribute to fate and what you attribute to your own self-direction of no, maybe not. I don't know.
No, 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 I think so. It sounds I do
Sounds
recall
familiar.
having a recent conversation with you
Okay.
about this.
Okay. Well, this expression, everything happens for a reason, right? Don't be upset about what's going on because it's part of a bigger plan or a bigger picture, right? Also,
Mhm.
really
Yes.
common, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And there are many, many more, but so this is a quick list of a whole bunch of them that are very common. So, Lindsay, I don't know if we already mentioned, but on Spotify, we do these polls as a way to interact with our listeners, right, Lindsay?
Yeah, we want to know. And today we have a great question that's super relevant from today's episode. We want to hear your voice, right? So if you go over to, if you listen on Spotify today, you can check out the poll. And what is our poll question for today,
All right,
Michelle?
we want to know. We want to know, are you an optimist or a pessimist?
Oh, this will be really interesting to see how it breaks down worldwide for our listeners. I'm
Yes.
super excited.
Definitely, me too. So let us know.
All right.
All right. So let's do a role play to use these expressions now. So here we
Okay.
go. In this role play, you were hoping to get a new dog, but someone
Oh,
else got it first. You found one you really like.
oh, that's
Sorry.
crushing. Oh, no. Okay. Here we go. Oh, Michelle, he was so cute. I'm so bummed.
Well, look on the bright side. Someone got the dog. The dog is happy and safe. You will find another dog you like.
Well, that's true. I guess I should look for the silver lining, shouldn't I?
Yeah, just keep getting out there and you'll find another one. Everything happens for a reason. Maybe this dog wouldn't have gotten along with Kiefer.
Yeah, I guess you never know.
Mm, oh wow. I see there's another rescue dog event next week. Maybe your new dog is there. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
Yeah, if I get a dog there, it will be great. All's well that ends well. All
Okay.
right, so we're so positive here. It's
Yes, we're so
dripping in
positive.
positivity here. I love it. I love it. And so this one, look on the bright side. Do you feel like you use it, Michelle? Some like in your everyday conversation, would you say yourself personally?
Hmm.
Look on the bright side.
I might, but not too frequently. What do you
Yeah.
think
I
for
agree.
you?
It's out there. I mean, I hear it. I might not personally use it. It almost feels a little too like, well, too neat and tidy, right?
Yeah, a
Kind of
little bit.
yeah, as we've been saying, but guys, it makes total sense. It's communicative, it's positive. So you said, Michelle, well, look on the bright side, and then you're gonna say something positive after that, right? A good point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And then you said, I that's true. I guess I should look for the silver lining. So the silver lining is the positive part.
Mhm.
So this being that the dog is rescued, somebody's getting him,
Yeah.
and he's safe, and you should just be happy about that.
Yeah, I love it. And then you said, yeah, just keep getting out there and you'll find another one. Everything happens for a reason. So you're saying maybe the reason is that this dog wouldn't have meshed well with Kiefer, right? With my
Yeah.
current dog that I'm going to
Yes.
keep, of course.
Yeah.
My baby.
Yes, yes, exactly, and then, I look and I see maybe a sign or something that there's another rescue dog event, and so I said, "When life gives you lemons, make lemonade." So even though you're sad, now we can make something sweet and go to another place to try and find you your dog.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like with that one, we also use it in a way of like if I'm trying to think of Like, if you lose a job, right? Let's say
Yeah.
you're an employee and you lose a job
Mm,
and then you decide you get fired and it doesn't seem obvious why you got fired. There's no
mhm,
explanation for it. And you say to
mhm,
yourself, I'm never going to work for anyone again, for example.
mhm.
Then you go and start your own business and you make
Mm,
something so much better that
that's it's like a creative
it's a
like
crazy,
a
yeah,
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 when you
something,
create
mhm.
something good for yourself.
Yeah, something bigger and better comes out of a
Mm,
negative outcome
good
is kind
point.
of the way I see that phrase, right?
Yeah, I think that yeah, that's a good point, Lindsay. I think that that's great. And then you said, "Yeah, if I get a dog there, it will be great. All's well that ends well." So it's
Mhm.
like, "Oh, well, if I get a dog in the end, it's fine about this one."
Exactly. All right, any final thoughts? Any takeaway for our listeners today on
Well,
positive
first
phrases?
off, I wanna know, do you think you're gonna get another dog ever?
Oh, yeah, of course. We'll get another dog. It's just that maybe in a couple of years. It's expensive having a dog, Michelle. Oh, 2 dogs. Whew.
Yeah.
Doggy daycare.
Yes, 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 exactly. Alright, well, so takeaway is, yeah, we have to kind of understand how this fits into the culture and realize that it's okay to have your real feelings and we don't want to be that annoying optimist, right?
Yeah.
Either cuz sometimes it can be irritating if if you can't experience your real feelings.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah. I'm watching this show, and I don't maybe you've seen it. It's called Dead to Me. It's, kind of
Oh
a
yeah,
dark
yeah, yeah.
comedy with, Christina Applegate. I love
Mhm.
her.
Yes, me
And
too.
okay, so the Judy character, she
Mhm.
reminds me of someone who's, like, ridiculously optimistic in situations where you
Mm.
should never be optimistic.
Yes.
It's hilarious, and she's so
Yes.
funny, and she's almost like a cartoonish character because
Yes, she is.
yeah, so it's almost like it's a misfit. It doesn't make sense in those situations to be
Yeah.
optimistic, but I would say in general, American culture is pretty positive. We have this
Yeah.
narrative. It'll be interesting to see in the next 100 years, where does that go? Does that continue as we age as a culture, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
economy. Yeah.
Yes. So much can change this outlook. So
Oh, for
definitely
sure.
stay tuned.
Yeah, guys, for sure. Go participate in our Spotify poll. We want to know, are
Yes.
you an optimist or a pessimist? Let us know. Good stuff, Michelle. You have a good day.
All right. All right. You too. Bye, Lindsay.
Bye.